How many nights have you laid your head on the pillow, not in peace, but in torment? Eyes wide open while the rest of the world sleeps, your mind racing through every fear, every unanswered question, every prayer you whispered into the silence only to hear nothing in return? How many times have you asked, God, are you there? Desperate for a sign, an answer, a shift in the immovable circumstances that have followed you from one day into the next. You've begged, you've wept, you've pleaded in the darkness, but still, the burden remains. Still, the fear whispers, what if nothing is working? What if I'm still alone? There is no suffering quite like the long, quiet ache of unanswered prayer. Not because God has failed you, but because you have not yet been taught to speak your word in alignment with divine law. You have not yet been told that prayer is not about asking and waiting. It is about declaring and knowing. You've spent too many nights trying to figure it out, trying to think your way through the pain, trying to hold it all together with sheer will, while the soul within you longs for rest, for evidence that something greater is moving on your behalf. Beloved, this suffering ends tonight. That anxious cycle of mental striving, that gnawing sensation of being overlooked by heaven, that crushing doubt that your words are disappearing into the void. It ends the moment you remember the truth Florence Scovel Shinn gave so plainly. The subconscious mind has no sense of humor, and people often joke themselves into unhappy experiences. What you repeat, what you worry, what you allow to spin in your mind before sleep is the very soil in which tomorrow's circumstances grow. If you go to bed repeating fear, you wake to more of it. But if you go to bed with a spoken prayer rooted in truth, that prayer continues working while you rest, weaving your good together behind the veil of the seen world. You are not wrong for feeling weary. You are not wrong for wanting relief. The weariness is the voice of your spirit crying out to align with a higher law. And that law says, you shall have whatsoever you say, not whatsoever you wish, not whatsoever you worry about, whatsoever you say. This is why tonight matters. This is why the way you end your day is more powerful than how you began it. There is a prayer that works, not because it is magic, but because it is law. A prayer that does not beg, but speaks. A prayer that does not wait for the world to approve, but moves the heavens because it is rooted in spiritual certainty. You have waited long enough for permission to rest. Now you will rest in power. From this moment forward, you will no longer drift into sleep, hoping something changes. You will speak with divine command, knowing your word shall not return void. You will enter rest as a soul who has spoken truth, planted it deep into the subconscious, and released it into infinite intelligence for perfect fulfillment. No more nights of anxious repetition, no more fear-based prayers. There is a prayer that works while you sleep, and it is waiting for your voice to activate it tonight. Beloved soul, now that we have laid bare the aching heart of unanswered prayers and sleepless nights, let us walk into the radiant light of revelation. For there is a law higher than struggle, a principle older than time itself, and once you grasp it, you will never again approach prayer as a beggar at the gates of heaven. Florence Scovel Shinn, speaking not from theory, but from lived spiritual authority, declared these immortal words, "Your word is your wand." In this single truth lies the key to every demonstration, every healing, every answered prayer you have ever longed for. Consider this deeply. When you speak, you are not merely forming sounds with breath and tongue. You are issuing spiritual decrees into the very structure of reality. The unseen responds to the spoken word because the word is not separate from divine law. It is divine law in motion. Just as God spoke the worlds into being, "Let there be light," and there was light, so too does your spoken word create, command, and shape every condition of your life. You have been told to pray silently, to hope quietly, to wait passively for divine intervention. Yet the truth is this: prayer is not a timid request. It is not a long-winded plea filled with uncertainty. Prayer is a spoken act of authority, a living word that impresses itself upon the subconscious mind and sets the unfailing law of spirit into motion. The moment you declare truth with unwavering conviction, the entire universe responds, arranging people, opportunities, and circumstances to manifest your decree. Understand the hidden power of your subconscious mind. It is a mighty engine, tireless and obedient, working ceaselessly to bring forth whatever has been impressed upon it. Unlike your conscious mind, it does not question, it does not reason, it does not hesitate. It simply fulfills the command it has been given. And here is the revelation that changes everything. The subconscious never sleeps. While your conscious mind lays down its tools for the night, drifting into silence and dream, the subconscious continues its holy labor. It listens to the last words you speak before you close your eyes, and through the watches of the night, it constructs reality in their likeness. Picture this. You go to bed planting seeds in a divine garden. If you sow fear, the subconscious waters those seeds, and by dawn, more fear sprouts in your affairs. If you sow words of limitation, you wake to doors that seem locked, opportunities that seem distant. But if you speak words of power, words rooted in divine truth and faith, those words are planted like radiant seeds of light, and as you sleep, they take root, sprout, and grow in the unseen, ready to burst into visible demonstration at the appointed time. Florence often said that man's word links him with omnipotence. This is not poetic exaggeration, it is spiritual law. When you speak aligned with infinite spirit, you become one with the creative force that formed galaxies and commands angels. Your word is not ignored. It reverberates through the subconscious, through unseen channels, through divine intelligence itself, setting in motion a chain of events so precise, so ingenious that only heaven could have orchestrated it. From this moment, you must see prayer not as something you whisper timidly into darkness, hoping it might be heard. You must see it as a scepter in your hand, a wand of divine magic that bends reality according to the immutable law of spirit. When you understand this law, you will no longer wonder if your prayers are working. You will speak once, in faith, and then rest, knowing that as surely as seeds germinate unseen in the soil, your word is germinating in the subconscious, weaving itself into the fabric of your life, bringing forth a harvest that cannot fail. Tonight, you will speak such a word, and while you sleep, your subconscious and infinite spirit will labor without pause, without error, without delay, to manifest what you have declared. For divine law does not sleep, does not forget, and never returns empty. Your word is your wand, and tonight you will wield it with the authority of heaven itself. Beloved soul, having now uncovered the law that governs spoken prayer and its silent, ceaseless activity through the subconscious and infinite spirit, we must journey deeper into the sacred posture from which such a prayer is spoken, a posture of faith that rests. For there is a faith that struggles and strains, clawing at heaven's doors in desperation, and there is a faith that stands in divine authority, speaks once, and then reclines in perfect trust, knowing the work is already finished. It is this faith that Florence Scovel Shinn revealed in every page of her teachings, this faith that echoes in Scripture. He gives his beloved sleep. To truly grasp this, we must look at the example of the master metaphysician himself, Jesus the Christ. When the storm raged and the disciples trembled in fear, believing the waves would consume them, where was Jesus? Asleep, resting in perfect calm at the helm of the ship. And when they woke him in panic, he did not join in their terror. He did not plead with God to stop the storm. He stood, raised his voice, and with a word of authority said, "Peace, be still." And immediately the wind ceased, and the waters became still as glass. This is the essence of prayer that works. It is not birthed in anxiety, but in assurance. It is not rooted in the belief that you must strive to convince heaven to act. It is rooted in the knowing that heaven has already moved, that divine law is already perfect, and that your spoken word releases this perfection into visible form. The one who truly believes does not labor in endless repetition, does not toss through the night wondering if God heard. The one who truly believes, speaks, releases, and rests, knowing that infinite intelligence never slumbers and never sleeps. When you lay your head upon the pillow tonight, let the storms of fear rage outside if they must, but within your soul there will be calm seas and gentle winds. You will not wrestle with unanswered questions. You will command your world into divine order with a single prayer, and then you will surrender to sleep as an act of holy trust. To sleep in faith is not laziness, nor is it avoidance. It is the most powerful demonstration of spiritual understanding. It says to heaven and earth alike, I have spoken my word, and now I rest, for I know that it is done. Psalm 127:2 reminds us, it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he gives his beloved sleep. This is not a call to apathy. It is a divine command to abandon needless toil and mental anguish, to cease eating the bread of worry that poisons the soul. It is a call to enter the Sabbath of Spirit, where you release every burden, every anxious thought, every false belief that you must make it happen by human strength, and instead trust in the unseen forces already working for your highest good. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that faith and fear cannot occupy the same mind. If you truly believe that divine law is unfailing, then fear must dissolve like mist in morning sun. Rest becomes not only possible but inevitable, for nothing remains to be struggled over once the word is spoken. The prayer that works while you sleep is powerful, not because of elaborate phrasing or length, but because it is spoken from this unwavering place of assurance. Imagine yourself tonight as a beloved child of the universe, safely cradled in the arms of infinite spirit. The moment you declare your prayer, divine currents rush forth to fulfill it. Angels move silently through unseen corridors to open the way. The subconscious carries your decree to every corner of your reality. And as all of heaven labors on your behalf, you sleep, not in exhaustion, but in peace, knowing that nothing can resist the law you have set in motion. This is faith that rests. This is the holy stillness that follows the spoken word. It is written, "Be still, and know that I am God." Tonight, beloved, you will speak your word, release it into the infinite, and you will rest as one deeply loved, fully provided for, eternally safe in the hands of Spirit. And while you rest, miracles will unfold effortlessly, for divine law needs no human striving to complete its perfect work. Now, beloved soul, let us pierce through one of the greatest illusions that has kept your miracles at bay, the false belief that your prayers have gone unheard. How many nights have you whispered, God, where are you? How many mornings have you woken to the same set of problems, convinced that heaven must be silent, that your words vanished into the ether like smoke dissipating into nothingness? How often have you concluded with an aching heart, perhaps I am not favored. Perhaps my voice carries no weight in the halls of spirit. But let me now break that lie like a cracked vessel, for it is not the truth. There is no such thing as an unanswered prayer when the word is spoken in alignment with divine law. Florence Scovel Shinn taught this with unwavering clarity. The delay, the silence, the nothing happening, it is all illusion. The moment a prayer is spoken in faith, it begins its journey. It leaves your lips and enters the invisible realm where infinite intelligence begins its sacred orchestration. You do not always see it immediately. You do not always feel it at once. But spiritual law is exact, and it does not require your senses to affirm its activity. Florence wrote, "The invisible forces are ever working for man who is always pulling the strings himself, though he does not know it." Picture this. You drop a letter into the mailbox, addressed and sealed. You do not wait beside the box, pacing in doubt, questioning whether the mail will be delivered. You trust the system. You go about your day. You expect the letter to arrive at its destination. But with prayer, you've been conditioned to doubt the process. You've spoken your word and then undone it with fear. You've mailed the decree and then stood beside the box, digging it out again with anxious thoughts, destroying the work already in progress. Beloved, when you speak a prayer aligned with truth, when your words declare that divine order governs your affairs, that your supply is now appearing, that perfect health is already yours, those words are not passive. They are not optional. They are not requests tossed into the sky. They are spiritual instructions, and the moment they are released, the universe moves into formation. You may not hear the machinery behind the veil, but it is working. You may not see the pipeline of provision being rerouted, but it is flowing. Your prayer is like a seed beneath the surface. Just because you cannot see the roots growing does not mean the process has failed. You have not been denied. You have not been ignored. But you have been deceived by the illusion that nothing visible equals nothing happening. That illusion is the enemy of faith. But now you know the truth. Unanswered prayer is not a reality in divine law. Delayed manifestation does not mean divine inactivity. It means the process is unfolding in perfect timing and order, beyond the grasp of your limited senses. Florence gave the example of a woman who declared financial freedom daily, but saw no immediate change. She could have given up. But she continued to speak truth. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. And one day, seemingly out of nowhere, the money appeared, through channels she could never have planned or predicted. It had been in transit all along. Her consistent declaration allowed it to arrive. Had she ceased, had she withdrawn the letter from the mailbox with fear and doubt, the delivery would have been canceled. So tonight, you must speak and then release. You must understand that your prayer has already been heard, already in motion. You must say with boldness, "Though I see nothing yet, I know all is moving for my good. Though I hear no sound, the orchestra of spirit is tuning my miracle into perfect harmony." Prayer does not fail. The law does not fail. Only man's belief wavers, and with it, the manifestation is postponed. But no more. Tonight you will speak with authority. You will speak as one who knows the moment you declare it, it is done. You will rest, not wondering if it worked, but resting in the certainty that your prayer is already unfolding in the unseen. And soon, sooner than you think, it shall be seen. It shall be touched. It shall be lived. For your word, once spoken in faith, cannot return void. Beloved, now that we have shattered the illusion of unanswered prayer, let us step into a vision that will anchor this truth deep within your spirit. Imagine your life as a vast and beautiful garden, not barren or forsaken, but rich with potential. The soil dark and fertile, capable of bringing forth endless blossoms of prosperity, health, joy, and perfect self-expression. Yet this garden cannot plant itself. It responds only to the seeds sown by the master gardener, you. And here is the divine mystery. The most powerful planting of all happens not in the daylight of striving and struggle, but in the quiet, unseen hours of the night. Think of a gardener who sows seeds just before sundown. He does not stand guard over the soil with anxious eyes, worrying if the seeds will sprout or if they will wither beneath the darkness. No, he knows that as he rests, an unseen intelligence is already at work. Beneath the surface, out of sight, roots begin to take hold, life stirs in silence, and what was once invisible begins to move toward manifestation. The gardener sleeps peacefully because he trusts the divine law of growth. He knows that his part is to plant with care and intention, and the rest is handled by forces greater than himself. This is exactly what happens when you speak your prayer before sleep. You are sowing divine seeds into the subconscious mind, which is the night gardener of your soul. The subconscious never sleeps, never questions, never doubts. It only nurtures what has been planted. When you declare truth before you close your eyes, when you boldly speak of abundance, healing, harmony, and divine right action, you hand those seeds to the subconscious and infinite spirit, who tend them tirelessly while your conscious mind rests. But hear this warning with love. Many have sown weeds in their night garden without realizing it. They lay down in fear, whispering words of failure and lack, turning worries into decrees, planting doubt into the fertile soil of their being. And then they wake to a harvest of continued struggle, wondering why prayer did not work for them. Beloved soul, weeds will always grow if seeds of truth are not intentionally sown. The night does not discriminate between faith and fear. It simply nurtures whatever is given to it. Florence Scovel Shinn taught this very law. Every thought you think and every word you speak is a seed planted in your subconscious mind, which grows and bears fruit. Tonight, you will no longer allow the night to work against you. Tonight, you will give your subconscious the divine seeds it was meant to nurture. You will become the deliberate gardener of your destiny, planting prayers that work effortlessly while you sleep. See it now with your inner vision. As you lie in bed, heavenly hands move silently through the rows of your garden, tending to the seeds of truth you have spoken. They water your words with divine substance, shield them from the weeds of fear, and accelerate their growth with light unseen by mortal eyes. In the stillness of night, miracles are germinating. In the silence of sleep, abundance is taking root. And when morning comes, the first tender shoots of answered prayer will have already broken through the soil of your experience, ready to unfold in full bloom. From this night forward, you will never again underestimate the power of what you speak before you sleep. You will know beyond any doubt that your subconscious and infinite spirit are the perfect night gardeners of your soul, faithfully transforming every true word you plant into a harvest of divine demonstration. Rest in this assurance. You need only sow in faith, and the night will handle the rest. Starts a point. Beloved soul, now that you have seen the vision of the night gardener working silently and faithfully while you rest, it is time to place into their hands the divine seeds that will transform your life. These are not idle affirmations, not shallow words meant to temporarily soothe a restless mind. These are declarations of spiritual law, spoken with the authority of one who knows they are backed by infinite spirit. They are commands issued from the throne of your own divine dominion, and once spoken, they move through unseen channels, stirring the night into miraculous activity. As you prepare to sleep, release every tension from your body. Feel your shoulders grow lighter, your breath deepen, your heart slow into peace. You are not simply lying in bed. You are stepping into a holy chamber, a sacred sanctuary where heaven bends low to listen and obey. In this stillness, speak these words, slowly and deliberately, allowing each syllable to sink deep into the soil of your subconscious mind. I cast every burden upon the Christ within, and I go free. Do not rush this declaration. Let it flow from your lips as though you are setting down a heavy weight you have carried for far too long. Visualize yourself unstrapping invisible chains of worry, fear, and struggle, placing them at the feet of infinite spirit. See those burdens dissolve into divine light, never to return. The Christ within, the divine power at the core of your being, now shoulders every problem, every uncertainty, every unresolved condition, and as you release them, you feel a vast freedom swelling in your soul, a liberation that whispers, "It is done." Continue now with this decree. Divine order governs my mind and my affairs tonight. As you speak, imagine the tangled threads of confusion, chaos, and disorder in your life straightening into perfect alignment. Picture every situation, relationships, finances, health, opportunities, falling into a beautiful, harmonious pattern, guided by a wisdom far greater than human understanding. In the silence of sleep, divine order is weaving your life into perfection, clearing obstacles, dissolving delays, and arranging blessings with infinite precision. And then declare with full faith, "Infinite Spirit is now working through every detail of my life, clearing my path and bringing my highest good to pass." See divine light moving through the corridors of your experience like a quiet river, washing away resistance, opening doors that were once sealed, bringing divine appointments, and setting everything in perfect motion while you slumber. You need not know how, nor from where, nor through whom these blessings will arrive. You only need to know that Infinite Spirit is at work now, and nothing can hinder its activity. Finally, seal this first part of your nighttime prayer with gratitude. I rest in perfect peace, knowing that my good is already prepared and is rushing to me now. As you speak these words, feel every muscle release, every thought soften, every trace of tension fade. Gratitude is the language of faith, the sign that you already possess what you have asked for. In this state of thankfulness, you drift toward sleep not as one uncertain, but as one who has already received. Heaven has heard. The law is set in motion. The night gardener is tending to your words. Your only task now is to rest as a beloved heir to an ever-giving kingdom, knowing that when morning comes, life will bear the unmistakable fragrance of answered prayer. Beloved soul, having laid the foundation of release and divine order, let us continue planting deeper seeds of abundance, healing, and miracles that will quietly yet powerfully unfold while you sleep. These next declarations move beyond burden lifting and into full spiritual possession of your good. They do not ask for blessing, they command it, knowing that Infinite Spirit has already prepared the way. As you speak them, you are stepping into your role as co-creator with the divine, decreeing what must be and allowing Spirit to carry it out flawlessly through the silent hours of the night. Take a slow, deliberate breath, feeling the divine presence within you rise like a calm, powerful tide. Now speak this truth with unwavering confidence. I give thanks that my prayer is answered now. I release every thought of delay or struggle and know that all that is mine by divine right flows to me swiftly and perfectly, under grace, in miraculous ways. As you declare this, see in your inner vision streams of blessing already moving toward you. Invisible currents of provision, opportunities, healing, and restoration are rushing silently through unseen channels, ready to pour into your life without resistance or strain. Feel a wave of certainty wash over you. There is no delay in spirit. What belongs to you has already been decreed by divine law, and even now it is finding its way into manifestation. Continue with this spoken word. While I sleep, Infinite Spirit completes my demonstration. Every question is answered, every obstacle is removed, and every detail of my life is perfected without my human effort. Visualize the night itself alive with divine activity. Picture angelic messengers moving quietly through the corridors of your destiny, opening doors that were locked, dissolving barriers you once believed permanent, and arranging divine connections that will astound you by morning light. Feel the release of control as you understand you do not need to force, chase, or figure out anything. Spirit is already handling every aspect of your desire in ways that exceed your imagination. Now declare with holy authority, I awaken to miracles, to divine surprises that bless me richly and fulfill my highest good. As I sleep, my body is renewed, my mind is restored, and my spirit is lifted into perfect alignment with infinite intelligence. Imagine yourself rising in the morning, stepping into a day radiant with breakthroughs and favor. See yourself smiling with joy and awe as calls, messages, and encounters bring answers you once thought impossible. Feel the vitality of health flowing through your body even now, every cell responding to this decree of renewal and harmony. Finally, seal this sacred nighttime prayer with words that declare victory before it is seen. I rest tonight in the certainty of answered prayer. I am fearless, I am free, and I am one with the law of spirit that never fails. The good I have spoken is already mine, and I now sleep in perfect peace, knowing it is done. Let these words settle like warm oil over your soul, soothing every remaining trace of doubt or fear. As you close your eyes and drift into holy rest, you are not leaving these prayers behind. You are handing them over to the tireless work of the subconscious mind and Infinite Spirit. Together, they will labor with divine intelligence, shaping circumstances, summoning resources, and aligning every event to fulfill your spoken word. While you sleep, heaven moves without obstruction, and by dawn, life itself will testify. This prayer works, and nothing can stand against it. Beloved soul, having spoken these powerful nighttime declarations, let us now engage the holy faculty of divine imagination, for visualization is not mere fantasy, it is the language of spirit. Florence Scovel Shinn declared that man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. The subconscious mind, that tireless night gardener, responds not only to your words, but to the pictures you hold before it, working ceaselessly to reproduce them in the outer world. Tonight, before you drift into sleep, we will activate your faith by painting a vision so vivid, so infused with truth, that it becomes a spiritual command to infinite intelligence, setting the law of manifestation into unstoppable motion. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to step into an inner sanctuary where all fear is dissolved. Picture before you a great altar of divine light, luminous and radiant, surrounded by an atmosphere of perfect peace. This altar is the meeting place between your human self and infinite spirit. Upon it, you may lay every care, every burden, every unresolved desire, knowing that here, nothing is lost or ignored. Everything is transformed into divine order and answered prayer. See yourself approaching this altar, your hands filled with every concern that has weighed you down. Debts unpaid, relationships strained, opportunities missed, health challenged, dreams unfulfilled. Each one is a heavy stone you have carried through countless nights of restless worry. Now, one by one, lay these stones upon the altar, speaking silently within. I release this. Infinite Spirit, handle this in your perfect way. As you do, watch as each burden is absorbed into the light, melting away like mist beneath the morning sun. Not a trace remains. In its place, a quiet assurance settles in your heart, a knowing that every problem is already resolved in the unseen. Now, envision divine messengers, angels clothed in shimmering gold, emerging from the altar's light. They move silently, purposefully, carrying your spoken prayers into realms beyond human reach. They pass through walls, across distances, through time itself, touching hearts, rearranging circumstances, aligning resources, opening doors you thought forever closed. They do not toil, they glide with perfect ease, for spiritual law has already gone forth to make every crooked place straight. Picture a great book of your life laid open upon the altar. The pages ahead were once blank or filled with uncertainty, but as you watch, they are rewritten in radiant script by the hand of infinite wisdom. Each line glows with words of victory. Answered, provided, healed, restored, overflowing, fulfilled. This is your destiny, your divine pattern now revealed and made certain. Now see yourself resting peacefully, lying in your own bed, yet enveloped by a cocoon of heavenly light. As you sleep, you are not alone. This same light pulses gently around you, sealing in the power of your declarations. Invisible hands are at work throughout the night, the subconscious mind weaving your vision into form, infinite spirit commanding every detail into alignment, angels guarding your home and whispering peace into your heart. Finally, envision the dawn. The first rays of sunlight pierce your window. You awaken, and as your feet touch the floor, you know, without needing proof, that something miraculous has shifted. The atmosphere feels lighter. The phone rings with unexpected news. Favor meets you at every turn. Divine ideas flow effortlessly. You move through the day as one already answered, already supplied, already victorious. Seal this vision with a final silent decree. While I sleep, Spirit fulfills my every word. I awaken to a world transformed by divine law. Let this picture linger as you drift into slumber. Know that tonight you are not merely hoping for change. You have commanded it, you have seen it, you have impressed it upon the unseen. The night gardener is at work, and nothing can stop the harvest of good now germinating in the silence of your sleep. Beloved soul, let me tell you of a woman who came to me utterly defeated, worn down by years of unanswered prayers and sleepless nights filled with anxious thoughts. Every evening she would beg heaven for relief, whispering frantic words that were heavy with fear, only to wake the next morning to the same oppressive weight of problems, financial struggles, broken relationships, and a body drained of vitality. She confessed to me with tears in her eyes, "Florence, I don't think God hears me anymore. I've prayed and prayed, but nothing moves. I fall asleep in despair and wake in the same despair." I listened to her story, not with pity, but with the calm assurance that divine law never fails. I told her what I am telling you now. Prayer is not a desperate plea hurled into silence. It is a royal decree spoken with faith, planted deep into the subconscious where it works tirelessly through the night. I explained to her that heaven had never been deaf to her words. It was simply that her nightly prayers were soaked in fear, canceling themselves before they could take root. Your prayers, I said to her, must be spoken as truth, not as pleas. You must see the victory already accomplished and declare it so, then rest and allow the unseen forces to fulfill it while you sleep. She listened intently, and for the first time in years, I saw a spark of hope flicker in her weary eyes. That night, she followed my instruction. She stood beside her bed and, instead of trembling in fear, she lifted her voice with a calm and steady tone, saying, "Infinite Spirit has heard me. I cast every burden on the Christ within, and I go free. Divine order is established in my life now. While I sleep, Spirit moves for me, perfecting every detail of my affairs. I give thanks that my miracle is already done." She spoke these words only once, with quiet conviction, and then she lay down, not in despair, but in surrender, releasing every anxious thought into the keeping of infinite intelligence. That night she slept more deeply than she had in years, and as she slept, the tireless power of spirit began to weave wonders unseen. By morning, a shift had begun. The next day, an unexpected message arrived from a long-forgotten acquaintance, offering her a business opportunity that dissolved her financial worries within weeks. Strained relationships began to heal through divine coincidences she could not have orchestrated. Her body, long tense and weary, started to regain its strength and vitality. She told me later, her face shining with new light, "Florence, it's as if the night itself worked a miracle for me. Everything I asked for came to pass, but not through my endless striving. It happened while I rested." This is the divine law in action. Prayer, when spoken with authority and faith, does not need to be repeated in desperation. The moment it is declared, the unseen responds. Angels move silently through the corridors of time, aligning circumstances, unlocking doors, and removing obstacles. The subconscious mind, obedient and tireless, carries your word into every corner of your experience, shaping conditions to mirror what has been spoken. The conscious mind may sleep, but spirit never slumbers. It completes your demonstration in perfection. Beloved, this woman's story is not unique to her. It is a testimony to a law that works for all who understand it. What happened for her can happen for you. Tonight, as you speak your prayer with divine authority and release it into the silence of sleep, know that the same unseen forces are moving for you. You too will awaken to find that what once felt immovable has shifted effortlessly. You will look upon your life and say with wonder, "Surely this was a miracle, yet it came without toil, for heaven worked while I slept." Beloved soul, to anchor this truth even deeper within you, let us clothe it in living metaphors, for the subconscious mind thrives upon imagery, and spirit speaks through symbols more powerful than mere logic. Miracles, though unseen in their birthing, move like hidden streams beneath frozen ground, like silent architects building cathedrals of light in the unseen while the world above still slumbers. Picture the sunrise. All through the long night, darkness covers the earth, and yet, while men sleep, the planet silently turns. The sun, steady and faithful, rises without struggle, without noise, without delay. No human hand lifts it. No anxious prayer can hurry it. No force can halt it. It appears by divine order alone. So it is with the spoken word planted before sleep. You may see only darkness when you close your eyes, yet even then, Spirit is turning your world, aligning events, and positioning blessings so that by morning, light must break forth. See also a river of supply flowing deep beneath a frozen surface. From above, the ground appears hard, barren, incapable of giving water. Yet beneath, life surges unceasingly, moving toward openings only Spirit knows how to create. A single word of faith, spoken before rest, is like striking the ground with divine authority. Cracks form in the ice of limitation, and soon what was hidden bursts through in a stream of provision that astonishes all who see it. Imagine now a master locksmith working silently in the halls of your destiny as you sleep. Doors you thought forever sealed, opportunities you long believed denied, treasures you assumed were lost. This divine locksmith moves with keys unseen, turning tumblers, unlocking gates, and preparing a pathway that you could never have opened by human effort. You wake to find doors swinging wide, not knowing that through the quiet hours of night, infinite Spirit labored perfectly on your behalf. There is also the miracle of the seed, lying buried in the earth. For weeks, perhaps months, there is no sign of life above the surface. One might assume nothing is happening, that the seed is dead, that the planting failed. But beneath the soil, unseen forces are at work. Roots stretch downward, life stirs and strengthens, and then suddenly, as if overnight, the shoot breaks forth into daylight, reaching for the sun. When you speak your prayer before sleep, you are sowing divine seeds into the subconscious. Through the hours of night, these seeds germinate, unseen and undisturbed, until the moment of manifestation arrives and your miracle springs forth, seemingly out of nowhere. Florence Scovel Shinn reminded us that the invisible forces are ever working for man, even when he does not know it. These metaphors are not poetic comforts. They are glimpses into the way divine law functions unfailingly. Spirit is ceaseless in its operation. It does not require your watchful eye, your anxious checking, or your restless interference. It asks only that you speak the word, release it, and rest in certainty. Beloved, let these images be your anchor tonight. See the sunrise rising silently over your life. Feel the hidden river breaking through barriers of lack. Trust the master locksmith opening unseen doors. Know that the seed of your prayer is already alive and growing beneath the surface of your experience. And as you surrender to peaceful sleep, rest assured that while you slumber, miracles are already in motion, reshaping your world into a divine reflection of the truth you have spoken. Beloved soul, even now, as truth begins to settle into your spirit and faith rises like the sun over your inner landscape, the mind may still stir with its old habit, its impulse to resist, to second-guess, to revisit the fears you have already laid to rest. Do not be discouraged by this. The conscious mind, trained in a world of appearances and conditions, often clings to control even when the soul longs to surrender. This is why so many, even after speaking divine truth before sleep, feel anxiety creeping in once more like a shadow at the edge of a candle's flame. But tonight, you will be equipped not only to plant your seed of spoken prayer, but to guard your inner garden through the watches of the night. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, "The subconscious is impressed through feeling. Faith and fear both impress it, so choose the one that brings peace." This is not about repeating words mechanically. It is about fortifying the vibration behind them. And when fear knocks again at the door of your mind, as it has done so many nights before, you will not let it in. You will not wrestle or plead or debate with it. Instead, you will do as the wise do. you will appoint a spiritual watchman at the gate of your thought and instruct it to allow in only that which aligns with divine truth. Imagine now this inner watchman, a mighty, radiant presence, robed in light, standing guard at the gates of your subconscious. It carries no sword, for its authority lies in spiritual clarity. Its eyes see not the illusions of fear, but the eternal pattern of truth. Whenever a thought of doubt, lack, illness, or despair approaches, the watchman lifts its hand and says, "This thought does not belong here. This garden is sealed in faith. Only truth may enter." And at this command, the intruding thought dissolves like fog before the sun. Tonight, before sleep, you may feel resistance rising, memories of past failures, anxiety about tomorrow, fears disguised as logic. But now you will speak this command: I choose faith. I choose truth. I choose peace. My subconscious is guarded by the Christ within, and only divine ideas are welcomed here. Say it with conviction. Say it as many times as needed. You are not fighting fear. You are replacing it. You are not wrestling with darkness. You are turning on the light. You may also declare, I now deny the power of appearance. I refuse to be hypnotized by delay, lack, or contradiction. These are shadows, and I walk in light. The truth of spirit is all I see, all I speak, all I allow. Let this be your shield against the temptation to rehearse problems instead of releasing them. If, in the middle of the night, you awaken with the old panic clawing at your heart, do not entertain it. Instead, speak softly into the silence. Infinite Spirit, I give this to you. I know you are at work. I now return to rest in the assurance of answered prayer. These words are not desperate. They are authoritative. They reaffirm the covenant you have made. And as you speak them, the soul returns to calm, the body relaxes once more, and the garden of your subconscious remains undisturbed. Florence said, when man becomes unconditioned, he enters the promised land. Fear and doubt are the only enemies he has. But tonight, you have no enemies, because you are no longer unarmed. You have the word, you have the law, you have the truth, and above all, you have the authority to choose again, to choose peace over panic, faith over fear, rest over resistance. And so you will sleep tonight, not only as one who has spoken truth, but as one who has safeguarded it, surrounded it with light, and trusted it completely. The prayer you have spoken will not be uprooted. The seed will not be stolen. The night gardener is at work, and now so is the watchman. Rest easy, beloved. The gates of your mind are sealed in peace, and the harvest of your prayer is now assured. Beloved soul, now that you understand how to guard your mind through the night, let us step even further into the mystery of divine timing, for this is the gentle undercurrent that carries every answered prayer to its perfect fulfillment. Many have spoken words of truth only to stumble on the rock of impatience, believing that because the manifestation has not yet appeared in their human calendar, the law must have failed. But Florence Scovel Shinn declared a deeper wisdom. No man is your enemy, no man is your friend, every man is your teacher. In the same way, every delay, every pause, every quiet hour of apparent stillness is not a punishment, but a teacher. An unseen servant preparing the stage for divine demonstration in a way so perfect you could not have arranged it yourself. When you sleep after speaking your prayer, you are not just resting your body, you are stepping out of the narrow corridors of human time and entering the vast, unbounded rhythm of divine order. The mind that stays awake in worry tries to rush spirit, tries to pull at the threads of destiny prematurely, only to unravel the tapestry meant to clothe them in glory. But when you sleep in faith, you surrender to a timing wiser than your intellect, a choreography already set in the heavens. Picture this timing as a grand celestial clock, its gears moved by infinite intelligence, its hands sweeping not according to frantic human demands, but in perfect harmony with divine sequence. Every moment of your life has a place in this eternal rhythm. The people meant to bless you are being prepared. The doors meant to open for you are being fitted with keys shaped exactly to your decree. The provision meant to flow to you is being gathered from sources you do not yet see. This orchestration cannot be rushed, for Spirit is not sloppy in its work. It does not deliver half-formed miracles. It delivers the full, perfected answer at the exact moment when every detail is aligned for your highest good. And so, as you drift into sleep tonight, speak this truth aloud. Infinite Spirit, I trust your timing completely. I surrender all human impatience. I know that while I rest, you are arranging every detail of my answered prayer in divine order. I am at peace. These words do more than calm your mind. They release spiritual resistance that can block your good. Impatience tightens the flow of blessing. Surrender opens it wide like a river breaking free from a dam. Imagine the unseen activity that occurs while you sleep. Like a master artist painting behind a curtain, Spirit is adding brushstrokes to the canvas of your life. Though you cannot yet see the masterpiece, every stroke is deliberate, every color chosen with infinite care. To interrupt the artist now would be to stop the process before its completion, but by resting, by trusting, by aligning yourself with divine timing, you ensure that when the curtain lifts, the painting revealed will be far more glorious than anything you could have demanded or devised on your own. Florence wrote, "Infinite Spirit knows the way, and I am divinely directed." This means you do not have to chart every step of your miracle. Spirit is guiding it, even as you sleep. The right ideas will arrive exactly when needed. The right people will appear in perfect sequence. The right opportunities will present themselves as if heaven itself had carried them to your doorstep. Nothing will be late, nothing will be lost, nothing will be denied. So, beloved soul, as you speak your final word tonight and close your eyes, feel yourself cradled in the eternal flow of divine timing. Rest in the certainty that unseen forces are moving with precision and power to fulfill what you have declared. You need not see it tonight, for by law it must appear. Your role now is simple and profound: to rest, to trust, and to awaken in perfect alignment with the miracle already on its way. Beloved soul, having walked this path of revelation, release, and trust, it is now time to seal everything you have spoken and believed in a sacred covenant, a holy agreement between you and Infinite Spirit that transcends every earthly limitation. A covenant is not a fragile promise, nor a hopeful wish. It is a divine contract written in spiritual law, unbreakable, eternal, and backed by the power of heaven itself. Tonight, before you sleep, we will speak this covenant together, and as you do, you will feel every force of the universe bending to uphold it. Picture yourself standing before a great altar of divine light, radiant and warm, as if the sun itself has descended into your room. Around you, there is silence, not the silence of emptiness, but the stillness of holy presence. You are not speaking to a distant God. You are speaking to the infinite intelligence that dwells within you and all around you, closer than your breath, nearer than your heartbeat. This presence is listening intently, ready to move mountains, ready to pour out blessings pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Now speak these words aloud or silently in your soul, not as a question, but as a decree that heaven must obey. Infinite Spirit, tonight I enter into covenant with you. I release every burden, every fear, and every shadow of doubt, and I lay them upon your altar of divine love. I declare that your perfect law is now active in every aspect of my life. I am surrounded by divine order, guided by divine wisdom, and provided for by divine supply. As I sleep, this covenant is fulfilled, for my word is spoken in alignment with eternal truth, and your law cannot return void. Pause and feel this declaration settle into the depths of your being like golden ink inscribing itself upon the eternal scroll of spirit. This is no temporary arrangement. It is the seal of divine partnership. From this moment on, Your life is no longer governed by fear or human limitation, but by an unbreakable agreement with the infinite that guarantees provision, healing, peace, and perfect right action. Continue now with words that anchor this truth even further. I rest tonight in perfect peace, knowing that every need is already met, every question already answered, every door already opened. I do not strive, I do not toil, I do not doubt. The Christ within me has spoken the word, and the universe hastens to obey. This covenant stands forevermore. My good cannot be withheld, delayed, or denied. It flows to me now in miraculous ways, under grace and in perfect timing. As you speak these words, imagine divine hands placing a radiant seal upon your heart, glowing with eternal light. Angels gather around, bearing witness to this sacred moment, and they begin to move swiftly, carrying your covenant to every corner of existence, aligning people, opportunities, and circumstances to fulfill every promise you have just declared. The very atmosphere of your room changes. Peace descends like a warm mantle, and you feel your soul rise into a place of unshakable trust. Beloved, this covenant is now your nightly inheritance. Each evening, before you close your eyes, you will renew this sacred agreement, and with each renewal, its power grows stronger, its manifestations more miraculous. You will sleep knowing that you are not adrift in uncertainty, but firmly anchored in divine law. You will awaken knowing that unseen forces have labored perfectly on your behalf. And soon, the world itself will bear witness to the covenant you made tonight, as every area of your life blossoms with undeniable proof of Spirit's unfailing provision. Rest now in this truth. The covenant is sealed, the prayer is fulfilled, and heaven has already moved. Beloved soul, as we approach the completion of this sacred journey, feel within yourself a quiet yet unshakable power awakening. You have learned tonight that your prayer is not a whisper lost in darkness, but a decree that shakes the invisible realm and sets spiritual law into motion. You have seen that your subconscious is a tireless night gardener, faithfully bringing to life every seed you sow in faith. You have heard that divine timing never falters and that infinite Spirit works endlessly for your highest good while you sleep. And now, standing clothed in this revelation, you are ready to claim your spiritual dominion and walk each night into the miracle-working rest prepared for you since the foundation of the world. From this night forward, you will never again close your eyes in fear. You will never again beg for heaven's attention. Instead, you will stand in the holy authority of your spoken word and say, I have declared it, it is done, and while I sleep, heaven fulfills it. This is not mere optimism or comforting thought. It is spiritual law, exact and unfailing. The moment you speak truth with unwavering conviction, your prayer is answered in the unseen, and your only remaining task is to rest and allow the divine orchestration to unfold. Each night, you will create sacred space before sleep. You will speak your covenant prayer with confidence, aligning your words with divine law. You will visualize angels moving swiftly, the night gardener tending your seeds, the celestial clock striking perfect timing, and every lock turning as heaven's locksmith opens unseen doors. You will lie down not as one who hopes to be heard, but as one who knows their decree has already shaped reality in their favor. And when doubts attempt to creep in, as old patterns sometimes will, you will remember the watchman at the gate, the guardian of your subconscious mind. You will replace every fear-filled thought with truth, repeating softly if needed. Infinite Spirit is at work now. Nothing can oppose or hinder my good. I rest in perfect assurance. In this way, no seed will be uprooted, no prayer canceled, no miracle delayed. Beloved, your call to action is simple but profound. Make this your nightly practice. Speak your word with power, release it, and trust that heaven is already at work. Each night you do this, you plant a miracle. Each morning you awaken, you reap its first fruits. Continue this practice faithfully, and soon Your life will overflow with divine demonstrations, financial breakthroughs, restored health, reconciled relationships, radiant peace, and opportunities so perfectly timed they could only have been arranged by infinite intelligence. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly." Tonight, you are stepping into that faith, not a faith of hoping and waiting, but a faith that speaks, receives, and rests in divine certainty. Let these words seal themselves in your heart. My prayer is working while I rest. Infinite Spirit has answered. The law is fulfilled. I sleep in peace and awaken to miracles. Carry this empowerment with you into every night hereafter. No matter the appearance of circumstances, no matter how long you have waited, know this truth. Your spoken prayer cannot fail, for divine law cannot fail. Sleep now as a royal heir to heaven's abundance, and wake to find life itself reshaped by the word you dared to speak and release into the silent, tireless power of Spirit. Beloved soul, now we bring this sacred journey to its perfect close, not with a whisper of uncertainty, but with a mighty declaration that seals every truth spoken tonight in the eternal vault of Spirit. This is not a prayer of hoping nor of waiting. It is a royal command, a decree issued in the authority of divine law, calling forth the invisible to become visible. As these words leave your lips or resound silently in the temple of your mind, know that they are living forces, already shaping the night, already arranging tomorrow, already bending life in your favor with irresistible power. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself standing in a radiant field of golden light. The heavens arch above you in glorious stillness, and the earth beneath you hums with divine energy. You are not small, not unseen, not forgotten. You are a vessel of infinite intelligence, a child of eternal love, and the spoken word you release now carries the very breath of creation. Every angel, every unseen force of spirit, pauses to hear and hasten to fulfill what you declare. Say now, with quiet yet unshakable power, "Infinite Spirit, I give thanks that my word has been spoken and cannot return void. I release every burden, every fear, every illusion of lack and delay, and I rest in the certainty that divine law has already fulfilled my desire. As I sleep this night, heaven moves for me. The night gardener tends to every seed I have planted, and the roots of my miracle grow strong and sure. I awaken to answered prayer, to divine surprises, to overflowing good prepared for me since the foundation of the world. Pause and let the energy of these words saturate every cell of your being. Feel the stillness of spirit descend upon you like a warm, holy mantle. Breathe in peace. Exhale every shadow of worry. You are stepping now into the holy rest of one who knows their decree has been heard and answered. Continue with this final decree. I seal this covenant with gratitude, knowing that nothing can oppose infinite spirit, nothing can hinder divine timing, nothing can uproot the harvest of my faith. My subconscious mind is aligned with truth, my path is cleared, my good is already manifesting now. I sleep as one divinely guided, divinely protected, divinely supplied. Angels of provision and power encircle me, and every moment of this night is filled with the silent activity of answered prayer. Now imagine waves of light flowing outward from you, carrying your spoken word into every corner of the universe. See obstacles dissolving, opportunities forming, relationships healing, provision flowing like a mighty river. Know that as you close this prayer, all of heaven's resources have been loosed in your favor. Finish with this final affirmation, strong and certain. It is done. I rest in divine peace. I awaken to miracles, to joy, to abundance without measure. Infinite Spirit has fulfilled every word I have spoken, and I walk forth tomorrow in the glory of heaven, made manifest on earth. Amen and amen. Beloved soul, let this prayer echo through the chambers of your subconscious as you sleep. You do not need to repeat it. You do not need to labor or question it. You have spoken, and the law has heard. The unseen has been moved, and the seen must follow. Rest now as one victorious, knowing that by dawn, life itself will bear witness to the truth you have declared. This prayer works, and nothing can stop its fulfillment.